15 +1/+1 counters on it.
It's really cool for multiplayer.
Yeah. All right, so no, these are none of the Venezuelan guys. I guess just because, yeah. So these guys are not from Venezuela. But Javier is to the left, and Richard is to the right. So let's see who takes down this match. Who do you think's favored?
I mean, it depends how much discard Javier draws, but like Richard doesn't really have.
All right.
Like he doesn't have.
Sure.
Post board, he's probably favored. So
Javier.
I think Javier's in favor game one.
Okay. So Javier plays the Underground Sea. Richard with a Swamp. Javier plays a Polluted Delta. Javier's thinking, I have a lot of money on my side of the table. Richard plays and wow, that's a beta. He's like, I have more money than you now. This is
wow, beta Underground Sea. That's worth more than like everything, right?
I mean, most of the cards. There's a Brainstorm main phase by Javier. 1, 2, 3. I think Javier's plan is to, hit his land drops and to just get some down, some pressure. Delver would be nice. Dark Confidant would be really, really good as well. So I feel like Javier's deck matches up very poorly against any aggressive deck, like a Zoo type deck or just a mono red burn deck, because he's playing like Dark Confidant and Forcible in the same deck.
And like Thoughtseize, things like that.
All right, there's a
Painful
Wasteland
cards.
on Underground Sea. Richard responds with a Brainstorm. What turn does Ad Nauseam usually go off on?
2.
Really? I don't think so. 2's like the perfect draw.
No, 1 is perfect draw.
Really? I don't know. Like when I play versus
Like
Ad Nauseam,
1 happens like in between 10 and 20% of the time.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Usually when I play against Ad Nauseam, it's like turn 3 or turn 4, but
That's a bad draw, turn 4 for the deck.
really?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, a normal deck, if you want to turn 4, that's like very strong.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a deck where you're like sacrificing things like consistency or things like resilience in order to win games super early.
Okay. And there's Delver from Javier. So it looks like Richard has a handful of. Yeah, I think Richard goes off this turn.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If Javier is a force, then
All he can really have is a Force or a Daze. All right, there's a Daze. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see if Delver flips.
I mean, Richard may have not wanted to lead with that LED because now his storm count's gonna be 1 less.
Yeah, I think I just would have went Dark Ritual to see if it resolved.
Yeah.
Somebody tweeted in, they said average is turn 4. All right, so Delver chips away at Richard's life total, and it actually matters. Some combo decks is like they could go down to 1 life and then just combo you, but Richard needs all his life points because of the Ad Nauseam. Each card that he flips with the casting costs them 1 life. All right, there's Dark Ritual. You see the tap of blue, and Javier will respond with a Brainstorm. He's probably in search of a Force of Will. I see a Spell Snare. That might. No, that's not going to do anything really. Well, yeah, it actually might help. It could stop a Cabal Ritual. That's pretty good. Stop an Infernal Tutor.
Stopping Infernal Tutor is going to be the most important thing to do here.
I think okay, there's that Cabal Ritual. I think he'll just Spell Snare that right now. Yeah, it's tough for Richard to fight through all this hate. Cheap counters, cheap discard, and early pressure. And Richard knows that that's a Spell Snare right there.
I think Javier was probably just favored the whole way through here.
Yeah, I mean, after board, it could only get better.
I'm surprised Richard didn't, play this game very differently. He could have just, like on turn 1, he could have gone all in and won.
Really?
Yeah. His opener.
I didn't see his opening hand, so I can't say for sure. All right, there's an Inquisition of Kozilek, and I think I'll take Brainstorm, and he does. There's a Dark Confidant, and he attacks. So
now, if Richard draws a Swamp, he might just win here.
How? He doesn't... I don't think he has enough... What can he do?
I mean, if he draws a Swamp, he can cast... he can plays Lion's Eye Diamond.
Okay.
Then cast Infernal Tutor, sacrifice both Lion's Eye Diamonds, giving him 6 mana, and then search for Ad Nauseam, and then he has 1 black mana left over to Ritual up, and then his opponent just dies.
Does he? He wouldn't have...
I definitely would have taken Infernal Tutor instead of the Brainstorm. Yeah.
All right, now he takes the Infernal Tutor.
As soon as he had the Underground Seas, he could have done that with his hand. So he could have gone for it like a very long time ago if he had wanted to. And he would have been able to pay for the days too. So.
All right, there's a Delver.
He was a bit too patient, I think.
Richard just passes a turn back. Confidant will reveal a Snapcaster Mage. He'll bash in for 6 damage, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Richard should fall to 3 life. And there's a Snapcaster. And that's game. Alright, so Javier crushes Richard game 1. Just gets a really fast start. Has some disruption. And
Richard could have gone for it much earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just take your word for it because I didn't see his hand and I'm not very familiar with the Ad Nauseam combo deck. So we'll go to the sideboard. We'll see that Javier will bring in a couple of surgical extractions. He'll bring in an Extirpate. He'll bring in a Thoughtseize, and maybe he'll bring in 2 counter spells as well. So he's definitely going to board out pretty much all his removal. There's a good chance that Richard will bring in his Dark Confidants because that's what usually happens. Sometimes I'll leave in my removal, sometimes I won't. If I'm playing a black deck with Thoughtseize and Inquisition, like Javier is playing, he doesn't really need his removal because the Inquisition or the Thoughtseize could
just pluck the Confidant if he needs
exactly.
to. Yeah.
Plus Spell Snare can stop Confidant.
So we have a bunch more tweets, and a lot of other people agree with me that the average Ant Goldfish is turn 2 to turn 2.5.
Okay, well,
so,
if that's the case, I feel everybody should play Ad Nauseam if you could win a turn 2. I always have this conversation with Pat Sullivan, and people always say, oh yeah, my deck wins on turn 2, but when you actually play in a tournament, you either win on turn like 5 or turn 4 like later on, or you just lose. I just feel combo decks are a lot weaker when you're actually playing.
I don't know. I've had a lot of success with combo decks over the...
Yeah? Okay.
I mean...
All right, tweet in. Let us know what you guys think. Do you guys think combo decks are as good as people say they are?
Like
or
every
do you
time
think
I've
they just
ever
get
won
hated
a
out?
constructed PDQ is with a combo deck.
Okay.
So...
Yeah. All right, so Javier is thinking, how is your sideboard? Should I worry about Dark Confidants? Should I bring in my counter spells? Should I, There's also maybe something like Engineer Explosives could be better than the spot removal. If say he's worried about Dark Confidant, Engineer Explosives could at least randomly take out Lion's Eye Diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Just for Chromox.
He may also be worried about something like Empty the Warrens. Like he doesn't really know yet. If you've seen that much black mana, one can assume that it's just blue-black Ant.
Yeah.
But I don't think everybody is necessarily like well versed enough in the Legacy format to differentiate all the different Storm decks and their iterations.
Okay, I can get behind that.
So
Richard will be on the play this game. Do you think being on the play is a major difference or what?
I mean, he's playing Ad Nauseam, so he could just kill him on turn 1.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I mean, Javier again can have Force. I think it's fine to gamble.
Yeah.
They have less than 50% chance to have in their opening hand.
Okay, yeah, I could
Just go for it.
Yeah, I'm getting some messages from Richard is blaming his loss on the fact that he can't use his lucky playmat. All right, that's some logical thinking there. I mean, I'm joking. Yeah, it's like if you have a lucky playmat, it doesn't make sense sometimes. So I'm superstitious sometimes when it comes to things, but all right, there's no possibility you can use a playmat, right? Yeah, not on camera. So that's what happens if you get a camera feature match. You can't use your lucky playmat. But you know what? I'm gonna wish Richard some good luck here. So good luck, Richard, and try to overcome the no playmat. Lundqvist was texting me. He was saying that he thinks Soren's bad.
Standard?
Yeah, I think Soren's good.
I think Soren's really good.
It's just,
but Lundqvist is probably better than me, so...
Yeah, all right, somebody tweets in, combo decks are only as good as their pilots.
Exactly.
All right. Johnson played his way out of a win. Also, Gerard is underselling combo in this format ridiculously. So he thinks I'm you know, personally, I'm just not a fan of combo. I
think
feel,
it's also though that I think from your end it's a lot different because you're somebody who's averaging playing 7 discard spells in your decks. Like you're like every time I see you playing, you're playing decks with 4 Thoughtseizes. You're playing decks with like hymns. You're playing these decks that like inherently like really slow down the combo decks a lot and are the bad matchups for the combo decks. And you forget that these combo decks, like a lot of the people that you play against, are playing like green-white decks. They're playing like red decks.
All right. Well, here's a turn 1 duress, and we see a hand of 4 lands, double brainstorm, and Inquisition. So that's a very solid hand by Javier.
Yeah, so you just take the Inquisition.
All right. On a side note, Lundqvist says that Soren is bad in blue-white beatdown, so it might be good in other decks.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. We love you, Ben Lundqvist, you know?
Everybody loves Ben Lundqvist.
Yeah, of course. So I think if I was Richard, I would just take the Inquisition. It protects what's in my hand, and since he has 2 brainstorms, there's no really point in taking one of them.
He's like still going to be able to brainstorm.
So, let's see what Javier draws for his turn. It'd be sick if he just draws like a Thoughtseize anyway. There's an island, and looks like he'll probably pass the turn. Richard takes his turn. He draws an Infernal Tutor. There's a Thoughtseize. It's kind of interesting that Richard plays a Thoughtseize there. There's a chance that Javier will only have lands.
Yeah, I mean he could wait on that. Maybe he doesn't have.
I mean his hand was.
I wonder how many basic swamps he's playing. It seems like he's playing a lot of them.
Yeah, it looks like Richard's short on lands, but I would not be completely surprised if Javier just doesn't even have a spell to reveal. We'll see though. It looks like he's taking more time than, like if he only had 2 spells to put back, it would just be instantly. So I feel like Richard will get something, but Richard will probably get something not very good. So it's a Delver. All right, so Javier decides that there's 2 cards on top of his deck are just more valuable than the Delver. And he shows a hand of 5 lands.
So on top, there's probably a Brainstorm and...
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Javier will draw the Brainstorm, play Brainstorm, get the card that he wants, and then have fetch land to shuffle away the extra lands. So although Javier doesn't have much action, that 1 Brainstorm on top is going to work as somewhat of an Ancestral Recall.
Yeah.
And he's going to be able to trade away all those bad cards. All those extra lands. Okay. So Richard draws a Dark Confidant and passes the turn. So Javier should brainstorm here, but he decides to hold it.
I would brainstorm there. So,
yeah,
I mean, your
would
hand
too.
has that many lands.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I am again somebody who likes to sit on a brainstorm for a very, very long time. But at this point, your opponent has almost full information.
There's a Mishra Factory.
Oh, and he's getting 1 card deeper. That's fine.
Okay, so he brainstorms to see a Force of Will, Volcanic Island.
He gets to put 2 of these lands back on the top of his deck.
Yeah, he does. And then he can shuffle them away with that Polluted Delta. He'll probably go fetch up an Underground Sea. That's my guess.
And I wonder, has he drawn a discard spell?
Richard draws still no land. What do you think Richard's hand that he kept was good?
No.
I mean, do you think he should have mulliganed?
Yes.
Do you think he didn't mulligan because he didn't have his lucky playmat?
Perhaps.
All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, Javier, although he doesn't have any pressure, he's just in like complete control of this game right now. But he should start chipping away at Richard's life total. Otherwise, Richard could just draw some lands and get out of this. So Javier, make your move. All right, there's 2. Richard falls to 16. But I'm sure Richard knows his deck better than a lot of us,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Especially, I feel like combo players always play their, the same combo deck.
A combo player with Beta Underground Seas.
Yeah, he definitely like, I'm trading everything else away. Just I'll focus on this deck, which is pretty cool. All right, there's that Dark Confidant. Let's see if Javier does anything. All right, he lets it resolve.
And if that Confidant stays in play for like a couple turns, that's it.
No, I don't think that's it at all. I
do.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Richard is still. I mean, even if that Confidant stays in play for like 3 turns, there's a chance that he loses life off to the Confidant, and he'll still have to fight through Javier's cheap counter spells that will stop Richard from actually casting some of his mana ramp.
That's fair. I mean, as long as like Richard like hits a land and it's next to triggers like plus draw steps, then he should be fine. He already has the tendrils in hand, so you can start just like ritualing through counter spells, and then like the storm will take over and dodge the counter magic all by itself. So Javier's at 18 now. The difference between 18 and 19 pretty huge for a storm player. 9 carding is really easy when you have a Confidant.
All right, let's see what Javier chooses to do. There's a chance that he just keeps bashing him with that Mishra Factory, which is the line that I would like to take. Unless he has something much better. All right, this looks like a Jace. And Jace is going to bounce that Confidant. I definitely like that play.
I like that play a lot.
And he's going to pass the turn. So Richard draws a second Confidant. Javier will let that resolve. Oh, he's gonna daze it? All right. I honestly would have just stayed with my daze and just, bounced, attack the factory. But why not? You use that daze. Oh, there's a second factory. So he's going to Fate Seal. He's going to try to hide any lands that Richard may acquire from the top of his deck.
Mm-hmm. That seems fine.
How many lands and how many basics Richard is playing? 17 lands, and he's playing 4 basics.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, so it's not like he's playing too many swamps, actually. He only has 2 in his deck.
3 swamps, yeah. All right, so the factory bashes in. Richard falls to 13. Confident comes down again. Yeah, it's just... All right, so he decides to daze. I'm surprised he doesn't just hardcast the daze there. I guess maybe he wants the land in his hand for some reason. But I mean, he could have just tapped 2 mana to.
Mm-hmm.
So he chooses to brainstorm. Yeah, this game is pretty much over. Javier could just bash in for 4, knocking Richard to 9, and have Force of Will backup.
Yeah, even after this many draw steps, like Richard's hand isn't very good.
Yeah, it's really not.
It's really hard to have a hand that bad at this stage of the game, actually.
Yeah, it's weird when you're actually like watching games of Magic rather than playing. You see things so differently. You just see people get mana screwed, but I feel when you play, like when I play, it's like every game's like a struggle. That's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's a Dark Confidant. Richard draws a Lion's Eye Diamond. All right, Richard's going to try an Infernal Tutor. I would just let that resolve. All right, and he does. Richard will go get a second Lion's Eye Diamond. All right, there it is. So, yeah, Javier is just... I mean, all he has to do is make sure he uses his Force of Will wisely, and Richard will not be able to win this game. All right, so Lion's Eye Diamond comes down. Yeah, Javier lets that resolve like he should. And Richard passes the turn. Let's see what Dark Confidant reveals. Should be a land. Yeah, there's Underground Sea. And Javier draws for his turn.
And, I mean, that's another fun interaction. Two absurdly powerful cards that interact well together. Dark Confidant, Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the best creatures in Legacy and the best Planeswalker in Legacy.
So, pretty much ad nauseum is nullified at this point. Javier places an Inquisition of Kozilek. We'll see a hand of Lion's Eye Diamond, Infernal Tutor, Ponder, Chain of Vapor, and there's the Tendrils. Right here, I would probably just take the... Let's see. I assume they want Dark Ascension. You can swap it out of it. I would probably take the... This is kind of tough. It actually doesn't really matter what he takes.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter at all.
I would probably just take his Chain of Vapor. Alright, he decides to go for Infernal Tutor.
That's the card that would probably be the most dangerous, but
I would just bash in for 7. I'm sorry, bash in for
6.
For 6. Mm-hmm. Oh no, bash in for 5. Well, I'm not sure what Javier had. Yeah, just bash in. Yeah, bash in for 6. Why not, right? Yeah. Bash in for 6. Just kill him next turn.
Seems fine.
Yeah.
Kill him next turn, even if he chains your Confidant.
Yeah. Somebody thanks us for showing this match. Much more interesting than Blue-White Delver or Blue-White Stoneblade, Stoneforge. Oh, there's a Snapcaster. All right.
Yeah, Snapcaster's discard spell.
Yeah.
Let's take the Infernal.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that was his plan, and then he'll just bash in for 4, knocking Richard to 6, and the next turn is lethal anyway. All right. So it looks like Javier will move on. I'm not sure what their exact records were. Both of these guys might have been 4-0.
I think they were.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
And yeah, Richard draws a useless Brainstorm for the most part.
And that's it.
Yeah, it should be it. I mean, Richard's going to have to try to kill him this turn, which is nearly impossible. Yeah, so he just decides to concede and shows a hand of 4 Force of Wills. There were 3-1, so Javier moves to 4-1, and Richard is somewhat eliminated from this tournament. He'll still be able to play it out and hopes of making a top 16, but top 8 will pretty much be out of reach right now.
Yeah, I mean, he can still play it out.
Yeah, of course. So definitely an interesting match. Javier just favored the whole way, and Richard's hand in game 2 seemed really bad. So it's what could happen.